Hello, welcome to this very special episode of TMF, and basically tonight is the sideshow episode of TMF, and just to tell you, it's totally different from any other Halloween episode we've done so far, in the sense that I've been given access to a haunted home for the evening, and the time roughly is 1:20, and we're sitting in the haunted home at the moment. House is in Lanarkshire, and it's haunted by a guy called Albert who died at the age of 84. That's all I've been told by the landlord. He's not really wanting to tell us too much. I think it's more a discover evening, so it sounds really interesting, and I hope Albert makes an appearance to us sometime tonight. The news for this episode, unrelated to the main topic, Oscar Pistorius had been prosecuted for murdering his wife. He'd been given 5 years in total, 10 months of which is under custodial terms, and 4 years and 2 months is in his own home as in a house arrest. I think it's really extremely lenient. Like for an actual jail term to be under house arrest, it's just shockingly lenient. I bet 1 day out of 7 he gets to roam about outside and in the town. You know, if I was a judge in that matter, I would get a death warrant out on them. Just get a firing squad out, click, click, bang. And also in related news, UK news actually, David Cameron had got slapped in Leeds, of all places. Basically, he was coming out of a building and this jogger ran up to him and cracked him in the face. The guy did get arrested and then released later on, and David Cameron had actually got left alone, vulnerable for about 8 seconds. You know, I'm surprised it wasn't a Guy Fawkes mission that happened off the jogger. Really surprised actually. And also in UK news, all shops are basically charging you 5p per bag, also known as bag tax. It was really quite discriminating towards anybody like family shoppers or people who are doing their Christmas shop. And this is an interesting bit of news for anybody. See, if a shop gives out a bag without charging, they get fined £5,000. That's really quite shocking. That's the same enforcement fines that they give out for giving alcohol to minors. I really think it's barbarically enforced, because, like, as I said, you know, it's on par with alcohol fines. Really shocking that. And also, the Naked Rambler, in unrelated news, had lost a EU human rights battle. You'll probably know he's been cutting about all over the UK naked, and basically been arrested every city he'd went, and he spent most of 8 years in a jail. And he tried to take the case to the Human Rights Court in Europe, and they turned it down. I'm not really surprised, to be frank, because, you know, you don't exactly want to see a fucking naked old man with just a rucksack on him. Me and my mate got really bored one day, and no, we didn't start touching each other. We actually started playing with the talking board, right? And it was going quite well for a while, and then it spelled out, "You couple of fannies." They don't call it Ouija board for nothing. And then we started, Glasgow Queen Street's a bastard, right? I got off a train the other day, went into a lift to get the train upstairs, and it jammed. It actually jammed with me in it, me only, right? And then the lift has the pure audacious to call me fat by going, Lift overloaded. Please empty. Like, what? Hey, I'm self-conscious, by the way. You don't call me a fat bastard. I'll cry myself to sleep tonight. Scottsdale, you cheeky shites. If I win for a win, I fail. Packed trains. It's such an annoyance when you get on the train and there's absolutely no seats whatsoever, or you're like pressed shoulder to shoulder with someone. It's just so annoying that. I win. Jeremy Kyle sign language lady. She's just natural comedy without saying anything, to be honest. I fail. Bragging about your drug habits on Twitter. No one gives a fuck, number one, and number two. You know, if you mentioned an area that you're doing that in, you know, the police actually check tweets that belong to that area, and if they find out that your tweet that involves drugs is something linked to you, you could be arrested that night. And besides, that's just jailbait as fuck, talking about drugs on Twitter. I win. Morrison's had recently started doing macaroni cheeseburgers. When I looked at the idea, I thought, this could go so badly wrong, but I got the burger and it's amazing. It's a win, actually. I fail. Drama llamas on Facebook. The ones that start kind of like bitch fights on statuses and basically like kind of aimed at Facebook statuses. It's so cringy to watch, although you're not involved. It's like, oh, create a grip, you pair of fucking fannies.
Sometimes the guide can see him, and the person who's right in front of him can't. And that's always a little dilemma for the guide. Most people prefer to remain in ignorance.
This room was opened up and the rubble was taken away from this room. In this room there were pieces of cut and shaped leather and shoes that needed repaired. This was the cobbler's workshop. Pretty miserable place to be. 12, 14 hours a day. You'd think he'd be glad to go, but he's still here. He's one of the ghosts that's been with us from the start. But he's friendly, he's pleasant, he's delighted to see us. He quite often sits in the corner there, and sometimes people tell us what a very good waxwork model we have of the cobbler sitting in the corner. An interview down here for BBC Radio Scotland. 3 people, interviewer, interviewee and the sound recordist. A perfectly normal interview until the sound recordist went back, played over the interview, the 2 voices that he recognised, but have behind them a rough voice saying in Gaelic, "My vaults. Get out of my vaults." More recently, there has been some changes in our contact with him as well. He's begun to say, "Edward, my name is Edward." I wonder perhaps if Mr. Boots is a rather cuddly nickname for somebody who sees himself and is seen by others as a very frightening presence. Is it she only attacks women?
The film review. In recent days, I'd been looking up a guide on cineworld.co.uk, and there was one film that really did prick my attention straight away, and it's this film called Ouija, and it's going to be released tonight, as in Halloween night, and basically it's about a lassie who does this whole Ouija board session and dies midway through, and her friends that are close to her try to learn a bit more about the Ouija board and how it works, but actually discover instead that the Ouija board is something not to be played with. And this film, from what I see so far, is actually a nice, short, sharp, sweet film. It doesn't last hugely long at all. I think it's one of these kind of films that are that are that shocking and sharp, it gets to the point straight away. I think it's going to be immense. And the final thoughts for this episode, I want to say a massive thank you for you all joining the sideshow episode of the monthly flow. Some people call it TMF, but we're still here nonetheless. I just want to say, whatever you are all up to tonight, know where you're going, know what you're doing, be safe, and most importantly, have fun. And also, whilst I'm on the topic, Happy Halloween, motherfucker! Wonder what time we're on there. Oh, I'm only supposing that's our ghost friend here, saying a wee hello.